इस वक्त कुछ असम के दरवाजे पे दुश्मन है और असम खतरे में है। इसलिए ख़ास तौर से हमारा दिल जाता है हमारे भाइयों बहनों पर जो असम में रहते हैं, उनकी हमदर्दी में, क्योंकि उनको तकलीफ उठानी पड़ रही है और शायद और भी तकलीफ उठानी पड़े। हम उनकी पूरी मदद करने की कोशिश करेंगे और करेंगे, लेकिन कितनी ही हम मदद करें, हम उनको तकलीफ से नहीं बचा दें।
Lhasa, the capital of Tibet and the abode of the Dalai Lama, had come under the control of the Chinese army. Towards the end of the 50s, Chinese troops started intruding into Indian territory in Ladakh, Parahoti, and the northeast. In the uninhabited Aksai Chin plateau of Ladakh, they constructed a road across Indian territory. Indian patrols were fired upon, killing many. Nehru sent a strong protest and invited the Chinese leaders for talks.
In espionage, secrets are the ultimate weapon, and in India, one agency has been guarding the nation's secrets for decades. Research and Analysis Wing, better known as RAW. But how did RAW came into existence? What led to its formation? What role does it play in safeguarding India's national security? Today, we would uncover the untold story of India's most secretive intelligence agency. In order to understand how RAW evolved and emerged, we must recollect our information first about the Sino-Indian War 1962 and the 1965 Indo-Pak War.
In his country with them. He has received the visits of Chinese and Russian leaders with warmth and goodwill, forgetting perhaps that he who sups with the devil should have a long spoon. Now Chinese hordes are on Indian soil.
Countrymen, Assalamu alaikum. I am speaking to you tonight under the threat of war in Kashmir, which is being forced on us by India. The exchange of desultory fire, which had been going on for months across the ceasefire line in Jammu and Kashmir, has now assumed a grimmer aspect. In certain sectors, the armies of two countries have clashed. Failing to suppress the freedom fighters in the occupied territory of Jammu and Kashmir, India has embarked on a course of aggression across the ceasefire line. Indian artillery firing across the border on August 23rd hurled several shells into village Awan of Gujarat district, destroying houses and killing 20 innocent people and injuring another 15.
Before RAW, India relied on Intelligence Bureau, which was primarily handling internal security as well as certain intelligence gathering from external. However, the intelligence failures during the 1962 Sino-Indian War and the 1965 Indo-Pak War exposed a major gap. India lacked a dedicated external intelligence agency. This is where the need for a specialized agency to handle foreign intelligence became much evident. The 1962 Sino-Indian War was a wake-up call for India. Poor intelligence and calculations led to a devastating defeat at the hands of China. The Intelligence Bureau was primarily focused on internal threats, which was unprepared for gathering intelligence on Chinese military movements. This failure thus exposed India's vulnerability in the global geopolitics. Now this is where I want to shed some light about the mistakes that has been done by the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru in the 1962 Sino-Indian War. One of his biggest mistakes was Nehru's strategic miscalculations. Additionally, Nehru's over-reliance on diplomatic assurances and his trust in China's so-called Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai narrative that led India into a conflict for which India was certainly ill-prepared. Several other critical mistakes can be also brought to light here, which led to the defeat in the war. Jawaharlal Nehru did repeatedly ignored intelligence reports and military assessments, warning of Chinese build-up along the borders. He dismissed these warnings, assuming that China would not attack. Inclusive of all this, his forward policy He deployed small, ill-equipped Indian forces deep into the disputed territory without having them well prepared to a Chinese counterattack. When the war broke out, Indian troops found themselves isolated and outnumbered. Another major mistake was the lack of proper logistical preparation. Indian troops were certainly sent into battle without insufficient winter clothing, outdated weapons, and inadequate supply lines. Meanwhile, Chinese forces were well prepared, had superior intelligence, and had built strong supply routes through the Tibet. This gave them a tactical advantage. Perhaps the biggest failure was India's lack of clear military strategy. Nehru's government underestimated China's response, believing that diplomatic channels would prevent war. When China launched a full-scale invasion, India was caught completely off guard, leading to a rapid and humiliating retreat. Then came the 1965 Indo-Pak War. Despite intelligence bureaus' efforts, critical intelligence about Pakistan's Operation Gibraltar was missed. Pakistani forces infiltrated Jammu and Kashmir, leading to intense battles, chaos, looting, and killings. Though India managed to push back the Pakistani forces, the war had underscored the urgent need for better external intelligence gathering. As tension grew in South Asia, it became clear that India needed a dedicated intelligence agency that could focus on external threats, provide strategic insights, and execute covert operations when necessary. The failures of the past had set the stage for the birth of RAW. Now, in 1968, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi made a historic decision. India needed an external intelligence agency. She then appointed Rameshwar Nath Kao, a brilliant intelligence officer, to build the agency from the scratch. With just 250 personnel and a modest budget, RAW was born on 21st September 1968. Its mission was to protect India from external threats, monitor enemy movements, and conduct covert operations when required. Now, for those who doesn't know who Rameshwar Nath Kao was, let me tell you, he was no ordinary intelligence officer. He was a master strategist with an impeccable record in intelligence gathering. Kao had served previously with the Intelligence Bureau, as prior to he was picked by Miss Indira Gandhi to lead the RAW. He was a man of mastery, soft-spoken, highly intelligent, and fiercely patriotic. Under his leadership, RAW was molded into an elite intelligence agency focusing on foreign espionage, counterintelligence, and covert operations. Kao quickly established RAW's global network, forming crucial alliances with international intelligence agencies like CIA, MI6, and KGB. His foresight and strategic acumen helped RAW gain access to valuable intelligence that would shape India's security policies. It was under his guidance that RAW played its first major role in geopolitics, the Bangladesh Liberation War of 1971. The 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. RAW played a crucial role in training Mukti Bahini rebels and gathering intelligence against Pakistan. This strategic planning directly contributed to India's victory and the creation of Bangladesh. It was a moment that solidified RAW's reputation on the global intelligence stage. RAW also played a key role in psychological warfare, spreading misinformation to confuse the Pakistan military and creating a network of informants within enemy territory. It even secured military supply lines for Mukti Bahini, ensuring that the resistance had the weapons and resources to sustain their fight. This covert support turned the tide of the war in India's favor, ultimately leading to Pakistan's surrender on December 16, 1971. RAW has done several other notable operations, such as Operation Kahuta, where RAW have uncovered Pakistan's secret nuclear program, such as Sri Lankan Civil War, Kargil conflict of 1999, where RAW provided intelligence on Pakistani intrusions, recent counter-terrorism operations, which mostly takes place post-2000s, where monitoring of global terror networks or be it tackling cross-border threats. Over the years, RAW has executed several high-profile missions, many of which remains classified till this date. RAW's role in protecting India remains critical, but beyond its covert operations and intelligence missions, there are valuable lessons to be learned. The story of RAW teaches us that national security is not just about military strength, it is about preparedness, intelligence, and foresightedness. India's past mistakes highlights the importance of strategic planning, self-reliance in defense, and staying ahead in technological advancements. For the future leaders of India, the lesson is clear. Complacency is the enemy of progress. A nation that does not learn from its past is doomed to repeat its failures. Strength, resilience, and a commitment to protecting our sovereignty must always remain at the forefront of our national vision. The world of intelligence is ever evolving, and as India marches forward, RAW will continue to be the silent guardian, the watchful protector, always ready, always watching. Thank you for watching. If you found this story insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history and intelligence.